Hey folks, welcome to Ghost Cat Cooks. Another exciting episode. Today we're making Hungarian Paprikash. So the main ingredient is paprika. So we need a really good quality. The best thing is not to use a smoked paprika. This one, it does say smoked mild, so I may use a little bit of this, but if you use too much, it'll end up being too much smoke flavor, because we use quite a bit of paprika. And then I got this one here, which is the best quality I could find at the store on that day. So it'll be served over rice. Let me do the meat first. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get the pan over here on high. We're going to put some olive oil in there. You know, a fair amount, because we want to brown this meat and get it all seared up nice. So let's move this out of the way. I should have done that before. So what we're doing is kind of looking at these, making sure that there's nothing we need to trim off. This is kebab meat, shish kebab meat, and I got this. You know, I was looking for stew meat, but stew meat was $10.99 a pound for stew meat. So this was $8.99 a pound. So I figured this was the way to go. We're cooking it for 4 or 5 hours, so even if it's a little tougher piece of meat, like a stew meat, I believe this looks like it's round, so it's part of the back leg. But everything looks pretty good here. I'm going to chop this one piece of silver skin fat off there, because that silver skin can get a little tough. You can see now there's like a thick membrane. So we got the pan on high. I'm testing the oil with it. We got a nice sizzle going. So I'm going to lay these in here with as much space in between as possible, so we don't get too much water accumulating in the pan. I got this extra one, so right now I'm just going to kind of shove it in there just to get it going. So I'm going to let these sit, get brown. I'll clean this up and I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see how there's some smoke coming up. It's really kind of frying nice. And you can see here, we have the brown starting on the side that was down. Can you see that color? And that's what we're looking for. So when that happens, we'll just turn them to another side. It's getting kind of loud. I'm going to turn it down to a medium-high since it's going so good and fast. So while that's doing its thing, we'll come over here and dice some onion. And we're going to cook it for so long that this onion will kind of fall apart. Here I'm using up some from the last recipe. And we want quite a bit, because this will sweeten up and give a good depth in the flavor. These I'm just going to cut in half and chunk. Because like I said, you know, we're cooking it for 5 hours or so. They'll end up dissolving. So just real quick, nothing too exact. So we should be good on this second side. Yep. So we're just kind of putting them on the third side now. As much color as we can get on these guys. The more color, the more flavor. So when these are browned on all the sides, I will be back. Okay, these are looking pretty good. I got the last side that I'm going to brown. So we'll go ahead and sprinkle these onions, make sure as many fall down in the cracks and get to the bottom of the pan as possible. That way those will start cooking also while that last side of the beef is finishing up. But any color that we can get at this point is just going to add to the flavor. So now that we've got all the base covered, I'm going to turn this back up to high to get, again, some more good color in there. So this is the smoked paprika. I'm just going to put a touch in there. I just smelled it and it's quite smoky. Then this is the regular paprika. And we'll put this, I'm going to take the shaker off since we use so much. So right now I put in, I would say about a third. We're down to here. There's that much left. So we'll save some for later. But what will happen here is those will kind of get a good toasty flavor as they cook. And then that smoke will add just a little depth, but not too much. So I'm going to let these kind of brown. I'll be back in a second. So I can smell the brown starting on the onion. So we'll kind of stir this up. I don't know if you can see in here, but it's starting to get good color on the bottom here. So before it burns, what we want to do is stop that cooking on the bottom. So in here, I mixed a gravy packet, a brown gravy packet, with twice as much water because I'm going to end up using another packet later to thicken it all up. But this gives it a little beefy flavor. We'll pour that in there to stop that cooking on the bottom. And that way you'll get that flavor off there. It hasn't burnt yet, so we'll have a nice toasty flavor. So as you can see here, let me see if I can get a spoon and show you. The color of this is phenomenal. You can kind of see how there's a nice deep reddish brown color to it. And that's what we're kind of looking for. I'm going to let this come to a boil. Over here, a little bit off screen, I have a small crock pot heating up on high, and we'll put it in there in just a second. So I just put some more of this paprika in. You can see it sitting there. So I'm up to about a half a jar right now in this pan. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat off on that and be right back. So everything's kind of got a light layer of grease on it. I've been trying to wipe it all down just from the splatter of this pan. So you can barely see it on the black cooktop, but this is the insert for this slow cooker. And we're going to transfer this because it was boiling. So we're going to transfer this. I usually try to pour it onto the spoon so it doesn't splash so much. You can see kind of what I'm doing there. But I'm smelling a lot of paprika. That's key to this dish. It's all about the paprika. So it looks like we got a good amount of water, but I'm just going to add a touch more in this thing I used to make the gravy. So you can see how I'm just covering the meat. So we will wipe down this edge like I normally do. Put this back in the crock pot heater. Put the lid on it. and we will be back in maybe an hour or so. I'll check on it. Okay folks, quick update. Take the lid off here. Let me get that water dripping in there so it's not all over the stove. So this is what we're dealing with. I put the rest of that jar of paprika in here and gave it a taste. I noticed it was getting just a little bit bitter. Paprika tends to do that sometimes. So salt is a good counteractant for that. So I put a little bit of salt in here. We can add more later, but that helped get some of the bitterness down. Plus, as these onions cook, they'll get sweet. The acids will turn to sugars, and that'll help with the bitterness. So we're just kind of letting it go, letting it cook for another 3 or so hours till the meat starts falling apart. But you can see the beautiful color that's in there, and it smells delish. I also put a little powdered garlic, and I put a little black pepper in there just to help round out the flavors. But that's where we're sitting. I'll get back to you in about an hour or so. So we're doing pretty good here. You can see it kind of bubbling around the edge here. So I had turned it down to low. And I'm trying to see if these are getting tender at all. We're about halfway through the cooking time. I think we're at 2 hours now. So it feels like they're doing okay. We got some, there, got the condensation off the lens. So what I'm going to do is, here I mixed that last packet of gravy with a little of fresh water. Mix it all together. This way it won't clump. But since I'm filming with one hand, I'm trying to do this with the other. This will help thicken it up, give it a little more beefy flavor. So just wanted to show you that. I'm going to let it cook for another hour or two, and I'll get back with you. Here we are, folks. We're at about the 6-hour mark, and I heated up some rice here. Just stuck it in the microwave, and this dish I think turned out great. So to tell you the truth, this kind of had me worried because the cheaper paprika kind of made it a little bitter, but salt kind of takes away the bitterness. You can see how nice and tender this has become. It's kind of falling apart from the knife. So I was able to, add a little more salt, and the bitterness went down. And you'll do that with yourself and kind of see how it actually does it. But it's always kind of weird. It always kind of makes me nervous that it's not going to turn out good. But you can see how nice and rich this looks. It's got a beautiful color to it. Let me see if I can get the light on there a little better. So it's a very flavorful sauce, so you don't need too awfully much. But it's got such a rich, deep flavor to it that I just love it. And paprika is made from chilies, so it's basically just beef, onions, and chilies. But that's it right there. Hungarian Paprikash. Hopefully you found this interesting. Hopefully you got a couple tidbits. I showed you how to braise. I told you how the bitterness in foods can be counteracted by adding a little sodium, some salt. And those are the big major lessons. But this is a great dish, so please try it at home. Have a beautiful day. See you next week. Ghost Cat Cooks.